Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Owen McKendry. This is a reaction video to the news that Florian Marku will be fighting Dylan Moran in London on August the 5th. Owen, thanks for joining me. Good to see Florian Marku back in the ring. We're big fans of Florian Marku at this channel for a number of reasons. His first fight back since last August when he fought in his home country of Albania against Irishman Dylan Moran. Keen to get your reaction to this fight.
I think it's an interesting one because I think Dylan Moran is relatively unknown. He's got a good record, but he hasn't, considering he's Irish, he hasn't really been seen much in terms of, even if you ask the hardcore, what do you know about him? No one's really going to have an answer unless you're from the local area, you know him, sponsor him, that type of thing. But that's not necessarily always a bad thing. I think for Marku, it wasn't his best performance during his homecoming. It was quite a spectacle, to be honest. The crowd seemed absolutely, like the atmosphere seemed unbelievable. If he can carry on and get to a world sort of level stage, I think hosting a world title fight there would be unbelievable. But I think it's probably the right move. Someone relatively unknown, but still got a decent record. He can get a win on the back of a controversial win, to be quite honest, and then hopefully kick back on because he's entertaining. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, look, obviously carries a huge fan base to from Albania when he fights in the UK as well. I've seen Marku fight in London. I've actually seen him fight in Newcastle as well. Brought over a thousand fans there, which look not that many fighters in this country can do that unless they're kind of at the top level. On Dylan Moran, 18-1. That one loss was back in 2019. As you mentioned, not a big name. He's not fought. I don't recognize I only recognize a couple of names on his record, if I'm honest. No, he's fought in the UK a handful of times. He's fought at York Hall, but he's only 28, so he's at that age when he's not a young fighter, not an old fighter either. It is an interesting one because I feel like it is kind of the unknown, and we're just going to have to find out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Marku is going to be the favorite for this fight. Owen, what do you think the end goal, not the end goal here, but what in the next 12 to 18 months, what do you think is going to happen with Marku? I think obviously he could possibly try and fight for the European title. I feel like he's fought and won the IBF international title in the past, so maybe try and move up those rankings in the welterweight division. What do you think the next 12 or 18 months? What do you think is going to happen with him?
I think it's a tough one with Marku because I think he's one of those fighters where he starts with a game plan, and then as soon as he gets punched, he's just let's scrap, let's go to war type thing. I mean, as a fan, I'm all for it. Like, I'm happy for him to do it. But if you're part of his team, if you're his coach, his friends, his family, anyone that's around him, it's sort of, I think he needs to box more. I know it's such a cliche, but I do think he loves to fight. But I think if he wants to step up, like you say, he won the IBF International, but if he wants to step up to turn that into an actual IBF, I think he needs to box more. He's a bit gung-ho at times. I think if he gets caught cleanly, he screams to me one of those fighters where he wouldn't try and hold, he'd try and fight his way out. And like I say, sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think he's got tendencies that if he wants to progress through the ranks, he needs to sort of either calm them down or get them out of his game completely. He's entertaining. As I've said at the start of this video, you can't deny entertainment levels. I just think he's got a big mouth in a good way. He talks a good game. He's confident. I do believe he is one of those fighters where he'll take anyone. If you offered him a world title fight tomorrow, I think he'd jump in and take it, type of thing. But I think for him, for the next 12 to 18 months, it's got to be, like you say, it's got to be minimum European level. And then when he gets to that level, assess, okay, can we push on to world level, or is it going to be sort of gatekeeper level?
Yeah, we'll see. I think important to remember he's only 13 fights into his career. He is 30 years old now, so I don't know. I'm interested to see what the ambition is. But we'll see. I'm a fan of Marku. I think he's entertaining. I think he's a character. The sport needs characters, so I'm all for it. We'll see what happens on August the 5th. Florian Marku against Dylan Moran at the OVO Arena in London. Owen, thank you very much for joining me. I'll speak to you again soon.
Pleasure, mate.